Well, on Friday, they had a rally. The Rainbow Alliance of Bermuda, they're a newly established group. This young lady named Caitlin O'Doherty. She's Bermudian but overseas in university. She started the group on Facebook, and this was their first appearance. The ran a story basically. Around 80 people turned out for the event. Basically, it was to give an opportunity for straight and gays to speak about greater protection for gays and ending discrimination, etc. That was the purpose of the rally. And Ms. O'Doherty said this was the first of many events. She said the problem is all this time Bermuda has not really had a forum, public open speaking forum for gays to express their views. So this was the first one. That was the point we had.
The newspaper and everything else said they can blame about speakers.
Yeah.
Well,
then I'm listening to you say first. Now I'll deal with him in a minute.
We had also at the rally was Mark Anderson, openly, Sybil Barrington. He was talking about how young people of today have it easy.
Were this guys up here sitting in the seat too?
No, they was.
Oh, because I can change my chair.
No,
I don't want to get affected, contaminated, and all of that. But go ahead.
They were speaking.
The gay reporter out there.
No. Just a shirt today. They were speaking
Today.
at the Mr. Anderson was speaking. He was saying the gays of today have it easier compared to he was born in the '60s and it was much harder. A lot of Bermudians committed suicide, and he talked about why he did what he did in May 24th years ago when he dressed up as the queen of the Gombe.
I just want to ask a small question.
Yeah.
With all these statements sometimes that these guys make, and this has nothing to do with the era, but do they have stats to back up the fact that a lot of the gays committed suicide back then?
Well,
No, I'm saying. No, but this is what I was trying to tell you when you were on the road the other day, around by the union, you were doing an interview on something. I said, you got to do investigative reporting. You just can't call me up for sensationalism. I'm not into that. See, when I come prepared, properly prepared. I'm talking about like historically so. And I'm saying to you, hold on, you don't have to defend nothing. You already put your foot in it. I'm saying to you that when these guys make these statements, in the course of your interview, ask them to back it up. It's simple. You understand what I'm getting at? Because that way you're not leaving stuff hanging out in the flipping air, and you're putting stuff on. Just a minute. Understand the psychology of what that particular group are doing. They're making statements, and they're not verifying it. So it's already put on the community through your media that it's accepted. That's true. And it's not necessarily flipping true. So I'm just laying out for you a guideline so that whenever you interview those flipping guys again, you ask them to show you some stats relative to Bermuda. And I guarantee they can't show you jack, because there are none.
Okay, well the main point I want to talk to you about is Glenn Blakeney. This is where it all started from. To take no.
It started from Glenn Blakeney?
Yeah, in the house.
Glenn Blakeney's sick and he blasted head. It's been that way over a long time now. And you got that?
Yeah, I'm rolling.
All right, so that's the main point, because it started from Glenn Blakeney. You recall that, and the take note motion on amending the Human Rights Act to get rid of discrimination. So ever since that point in the House of Assembly, it seems like there's been a lot of increased discussion about let's just, people saying let's just, not a bad idea, let's do it. So that's why I want to get your perspective as a religious person who sees things different. So we're rolling. So I'll ask you that.
Why not as a community person? Why not?
Well,
why does it have to be? Are you prejudiced?
No.
Or why are you asking me a question based on a prejudice?
Well, you can explain it to me.
Hey,
all right. So we're rolling. Mr. Blakeney.
Okay, I want a copy of this when it's all done. Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, we can
Appreciate.
work
Thank you.
out.
Everything. All right. Go ahead.
So Minister Glenn Blakeney, a few weeks ago, made a take note motion in the House of Assembly to, I believe, to amend the Human Rights Act to make discrimination against gays, to outlaw that. First of all, your reaction, I take it, what's your reaction to that? Is it time that we need protection?
I had occasion to call in on your Monday night program, and I think there I stated my position, my view. And I used the word faggot, and I was corrected, or kindly asked you not to use that term on the air. But yet, when I look in the Royal Gazette, I see the term queer, gay, bisexual, homosexual, lesbian. I see about 8 or 10, and then you got metrosexual. You got about 8 or 10 different terminologies talking about one particular group of people or persons. And I'm curious as whether we're allowing people to introduce into society a whole new species of human, a whole new species, because it seems to me like the rules and regulations are now being written to put a fence or hedge around a particular group. There's the same rights and privileges that you have, I have. The same rights and privileges that your cameraman has, I have. I don't have to question your sexuality. I don't have to question your color. I don't have to question anything. And while there are rules and regulations made to harness certain behaviors and such like, I still think that we've gone way over the top when they themselves have singled out themselves as being different from everybody else. They ain't homosexual. That's it. They're not gay. No, it's a question of terminology. And you see, we've bought into terminology, and we've accepted terminology by a certain segment of people as being correct, whether it's politically correct, religiously correct, or ethnically correct, or morally correct. The thing is, the word gay means happy. They're far from happy. They'll say it a lot. I'm being honest with you. I'm not being funny about that. The term gay is not applicable to their lifestyle and their behavior. They're homosexual. If you don't want to call them faggots, they're homosexual. If you don't, and their own people call them, the same lady you just mentioned just now, called the people in the whole group queer, lesbian, all these other like 10 or 12 different adjectives that I haven't heard any so-called straight person use, and they called other people straight and homophobic. But who the heck are you to call somebody else name? Don't want nobody to call you one. That's discrimination. You think about it for a moment. Well, go ahead.
They say there have been the proponents of the amending the law said there have been numerous cases of people being discriminated against based on sexuality, such as denying people housing, employment. You recall the late Bishop Goodwin Smith of the New Testament Church of God. He stirred some controversy years ago when he said that landlords should have the right not to basically to rent their apartments.
I don't know what Bishop Goodwin Smith had to say. Okay. I wouldn't ride on his ticket, but I'll tell you this: I wouldn't allow him to stay in my house either. And you could take that to the bank and cash it. The bottom line, if I knew that a guy was a gambler and he had the propensity to shoot crap downstairs in my apartment, I wouldn't have him there either. If I knew that guy was a pedophile and he stayed downstairs, I wouldn't let him stay there either. If I knew a guy was an adulterer and he was staying downstairs, I wouldn't let him stay there, him or her stay there either. So it's not a question. See, the thing that I catch in all of this is, it's like a guy that applied for a job as a radio announcer and he stammered. So when the radio station hired a black guy, the white guy said, "Well, they're discriminating against me. They're discriminating from reading the news." But did it ever occur to him that he just didn't get a job because he stammered and it's a newscast? But we're so quick to label people with things and take it on as hurt or hate when it's not hate at all. I dislike chocolate ice cream. Does that mean I hate it? No, you can have it, and everybody around me can have it. Doesn't mean I hate it. I just don't like it. So
the bottom line is you feel there's no need to amend the law.
Listen. There are 3 or 4 of us in this room. Who amongst us it could be deemed homophobic or homosexual? I mean, the bottom line is that when you have a people that want to stand out as a sore thumb and be recognized as something that they're not, that's foreign in itself. And their own members call them queer. Check the terminology. The queers. All right, I'm not calling them faggots no more, call them queers. Now, I mean, I need you to run that because it's all in terminology. Everybody wants to see the first premise in manipulating the people is to change their language. When you change their language, you change their thinking pattern. When you change their thinking pattern, you change their behaviors. Right now, on the news the other day, there were 3 ladies on there. They wanted to get they wanted to be changed into men. They wanted the whole appearance to change to look like men.
In the States.
You know what I mean? And so it's just a matter of time before some of those things are done here in Bermuda as well, if it's not done already by some. I don't know. But what I am saying to you is that we're now beginning to see the breeding and the spreading of a virus, in my opinion, that can only spell a further demise for the island. Imagine these young guys that are going now to 2 mamas or to 2 daddies, and now they're in their teens. They're pulling guns out against their mate. They have no respect for life, limb, or property anymore. Because there's no quote-unquote head of the house. The scriptures say the head of the house is the man, and the head of the man is God. The head of the house, the woman is the man, and it follows a line, and it's not about quote unquote control. It's about recognizing who you're in association with. Some women are more intelligent than men. Some women can handle money more better than men. Some men could do the same thing a lot better than women. But the bottom line is, it's just a step in the right direction. But when you have this crossover, and this is a serious crossover, you have men now who on a weekend will turn around and dress like women. You have some people in some cultures in our very island right now. And unfortunately, I think that some of this has an influence on us, who basically go back to their own country a certain time of year. They dress like women. They get their groove on. They get the oil change, and they come back. These are men. They work here as psychiatrists, psychologists, and bankers. You don't want me calling their names. So what I'm saying,
isn't that their private business?
Oh, how could it be their private if what they're doing is affecting the general public? How could what do you call private if what you're doing affects the public? In fact, I wrote a paper on it, and you know what I call homosexuality? Bioterrorism. Think about it, bioterrorism, because you're engaging in a behavior that it's exchanging semen and God knows what else throughout the whole community, let alone just the language. Could you imagine a guy having sex with a sewer pipe? You'll think right away he's off his head. But imagine what a guy, and then imagine a woman doing the same similar thing to another woman. If that sounds gross, imagine them in your own mind. Just let your imagination float for a minute. You have an affair with your wife. Imagine two women doing the same thing, or two men doing the same thing. Come on.
Well, I think
and now they're trying to introduce a new normal. You're trying to tell me, fly in my face, in lights of like 60 years of education, 60 odd years of education. You're trying to tell me that hey, this is now normal, man. This is the legislator said that it's okay.
But
come on.
What I'm trying to get is, what is wrong with tolerance? What is wrong with saying on one hand, yes, I don't agree with your lifestyle, but on the other hand, I'm going to support you not being denied employment. That's what I'm trying to get at. I don't support you, but
I'm looking at the word. I'm looking at where tolerance you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right, you ought to be able to tolerate somebody not wanting them around. When you don't want me around, I don't think that you hate me. You just don't want me around. When you don't want to hear me, I don't think that you hate me. I think you just don't want to hear me. And I'll eat crow and keep on moving. It's simple. If I got asked a question on the program the other day, it said, so what, Mr. Bean, supposing someone didn't want you to stay in the house because of your religious convictions? I said, well, I wouldn't like it one bit, but I'll eat crow and I'll keep on stepping, and I'll pray for him. Now, that sounds very simple. It sounds very coy and very religious, but it's very real. If you don't want me around, why would I want to stay around you if you don't want me?
Since you mentioned religion, why do you vehemently oppose granting protection for those on the basis of sexual orientation when God says in the Bible, in so many words, hate the sin but love the sinner? From a religious perspective. Hate the sin but love the sinner.
Show me in the Bible where it says hate the sin but love the sinner. Now you're quoting scripture, and don't take this out of the camera, but you're quoting scripture. Show me the scriptures where it says hate the sin but love the sinner. It's amazing how we jump on cliches and things that people say after reading a couple of scriptures here and a couple of scriptures here, and we arrive at some reasonable conclusion somewhere in our comfort zone, and we say, hey, this is the deal right here. You know, you have to love the sinner but hate his sin. Bible says God hates sin, and that word, it's all inclusive, the individual too. That word doesn't make a distinction between their actions and who they are, because if you're a sinner, you're a servant of sin. And if you're a servant of sin, you're according to scriptures, you're a servant of Satan. So if you're a servant of Satan, then you're diametrically opposed to anything that God would want to bring to the table. It's as simple as that. But what we happen again, quoting scripture in order to support our concern. The drug addict comes by and he wants to quote scripture. He says to me, marijuana is not as bad as heroin. The cocaine guy says, well, cocaine is not as bad as, I prefer cocaine over marijuana. The heroin addict says, well, I don't like either. Well, I prefer my heroin. I prefer my cigarettes. The alcoholic says he prefers his drinks. Well, who's right and who's wrong? Somehow our line